Peekaboo. Butterscotch. Butterscotch. Hey, baby. It's a good boy. It's a cookie. Cookie. Okay, so this is the skirt I'm working on now, and let me pull up. I'll show you the pattern I'm working from. Now this is the pattern for that daisy dress that I made a couple weeks ago in April. At least I think it was April. And you can see that it's a circle skirt with a couple extra steps. One thing I noticed when I wore it myself is that, goodness, the back is way shorter. So you see this, how long this is right here, right there, and then this is like so much shorter. It's ridiculously short. I had to add a piece in the back of that dress, which almost ruined it. So we're gonna fix that now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to measure this length right here, and then make it that length, which is also gonna have to make this length a little bit longer, and then I'm just going to true it out to be more of a curve. Okay, so I took the back two panels where the length is too short, because I actually like the length in the front and I don't want to change it. So I ended up about adding 5 inches here, and then it tapers off to right about the center of the side back panel. So now I just gotta chop that, and yeah, that's the panel. Because I did sketch out like a huge piece that would taper into the center front or the side front, and I just don't like it because I like the length that it already is, so I didn't want to make that big of a change to my pattern. So I think I like this modification, and when I cut it out, and if it's still too short, then oh well, we'll add a ruffle or a flounce or something. I have like 3 yards of the blue fabric, so I am not worried about not having enough. Okay, bye. Oh, that was close. Now I'm going to use this panel for the back of the skirt because I like where it sits my waist. And then this is the bottom of the front piece traced. Again, this is for the daisy skirt. And I have my Godette skirt right here that I was wearing when I cut out the blue shirt. And I'm going to steal the waistline from here. So I need this piece, not this piece, not this piece, and this piece. So what I'm gonna do is since this is the side seam, I'm going to line this mark with the top of the skirt, which is this mark. Line that up right there if it wants to stay. And then I'm going to take this piece, follow that, and then I'm going to take this piece right here and follow that. And now I'm just going to trace this line, and we'll get the top of the skirt. Okay, so here's a list of materials that you need to make this skirt. Of course, you have the pattern, and I've divided this by the yoke versus the skirt pieces. For the yoke, you need a lining, the fashion fabric, thread, which is used for both, interfacing, the zipper, and zip ties. Now, I'm using zip ties to create this skirt because it's going to want to fold over, especially the tip portion of the center front middle skirt and the pointy bits on the bottom where they connect to the actual skirt rather than just the yoke. Now, zip ties are good because they're washable and they're cheap. Those are kind of the only reasons. Washable and cheap. You can also use Ridgeline sew-in boning, but again, zip ties. Oh, zip ties. That's better. Gives you more structure, more washable. Anyway, I said that. So, I have 3 yards of this daisy fabric. That is more than enough. You probably only need 1.5 yards. For this yoke portion, I have like a 1/2 yard, and that should also be more than enough. And I have 1 yard of the lining. For the lining, you actually need to cut 2 of everything. And then interfacing, you need to cut 1 of everything. Now the lining is going to contain the zip ties, but the fashion fabric is going to be interfaced. So you will not be able to tell that there's boning through the fashion fabric, which is what you want. Well, at least it's my design, what I want. I don't want it to look like a corset, I just want to look like a flat skirt. And I have an invisible zipper, but you can use whatever zipper is in your preference. So now I just gotta chop it apart. I'm going to do all the cutting, and then I'm going to do the yoke first. It's going to take the longest amount of time. We've got our little project buddy taking a snooze under me for a little bit. He's so good. What is it, buddy? You want your spotlight? You want your spotlight? Yeah? It's a good boy. understitching the yoke so that the line does not show. And now you have this. The lining does not want to fold over. It just stays nice and hidden. It's a very important reason why you understitch. It's not something you see, but it's something you see the results of, which means you need to do it. Okay, so I've got all of the skirt pieces, all 7 of the skirt pieces, stitched together on the side seams, and now I just have to attach them to the yoke one by one. I can't just pin them and stitch them. I have to pin one section, stitch the seam, and then fold it over, pin one section, stitch the seam. Since there's 7 panels, I have to do that 7 times. So this might take a little bit. Now, not the last step, but one of the final steps is doing a zipper, and that's where I'm at right now. I started this project at like 10 o'clock, and it's like 6, so just one afternoon. And that's cutting, sewing. Only thing I didn't do is planning it, because I did that earlier. I even modified the pattern today. Oh, this is always the spot where zippers get stuck because there's so much material here. It has a hard time sewing. And zipping when you're zipping the zipper. Believe it or not, I've had to modify more than one dress to open this little bulky part so that the dress can zip over the lady who's putting it on. one thing I like doing when putting a zipper in is to make sure that the seams line up. I like starting at the seam on the second half. That way I know it'll line up. Come on, baby. Please work. No, it's not. Okay, come on. Is perfect. Now I've just got to sew the bottom, and sew the lining, and sew the hem, and put the hook and eye on. Ta-da! Yay! Now I'm just sewing the lining down. There we go. Then other than the hook and eye, that's done. I've just got to do the hem, and I'm going to do that on cover stitch machine. I don't have a cover stitch machine, but I have access to one, so I'm going to do that when I get the chance. here's the final skirt. I think it turned out really cute. That's all done. And it's like, what, 7 o'clock? So I think today was very efficient. I mean, I got my project done. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to work on it throughout the week. But it's done. And I think the bones make all the difference in the world compared to my other dress, the yellow one, which just puckers up. I'd like to extend a big thank you to all 31 of my subscribers. See you in a couple of weeks.